Good morning, everybody. Today, I like to start with your module multiple integrals. So, in order to understand what is your generalization of single integration line integral, and whatever the integration initially we learned from maybe your 10 class 10 or 10 plus 2 background, that is your Newtonian integral. That means, say, for example, if we look at it 0 to pi sin x dx. In that case, what we actually did, since the function sin x is a known function, that means what? That means we know another function, capital Fx, such that its derivative is equal to this integrand. Say, for example, this is your small fx. Okay. So in this case, whatever the integration is basically your fx just from 0 to pi. That means f of pi to minus f of 0. Right? This thing already we know. That is known as the Newtonian integral. First integration, whatever we learned, that is like that. That means whenever the integrand is a known function, that means we know its primitive. Like sin x, whatever the function, minus cosine x. Minus cosine x is a function. If you derive this function, then you will get it sin x, right? So we can integrate it by means of antiderivative. So integration like antiderivative, that concept initially we learned, and then gradually we learned the bigger thing. That means what is known as the Riemann integration. Initially, for that particular purpose, we take the function to be non-negative so that the graph of the function lies above the x-axis. Something like, say, for example, this is your region of integration. This is initially closed and bounded AB, and graph looks like this because we take the function to be non-negative. That means graph is where? Graph basically it lies above the x-axis. So whatever the integration, its implication is that area under the graph above the x-axis and bounded by the ordinates x equal to a and x equal to b. So this is the thing like that. So this thing represents this. Somehow we have to measure the area of this particular thing, and this its mean is area of a. So how to measure the area of A? There is a concept. So we break it into several parts, infinitely many very small rectangle, and then we like to estimate it. So that is what your Riemann integration. If it can be measured, that means if estimation can be done, then we can say that it is integrable. And um, that estimate means that limit is basically the integration value. So how we can generalize this concept in a bigger concept? Like if I take the function, it's a real valued function. Look at this function, small f. It's a real valued function defined initially. We assume the function is defined on a rectangular region. I just allow the function its domain of definition to be rectangle. What is that? I just like to write and draw here. Say, for example, what is mean by rectangle? These are, and real line is these are. Rectangle is a comma b closed interval cross c comma d. What it represents, if we look at little bit quicker. So this is, say, for example, AB, and say, for example, this is CD. So the common area, this portion is basically your rectangle R. So initially we assume the function small f, which is defined on R, and it's a real valued function. And moreover, we assume that the function is non-negative, particularly f is greater or equal to 0. Why we assume non-negative? Because initially we look the function, its graph above the xy plane. So that is a little bit advantageous in order to visualize the thing, what is actually it is happening in case of double integration. Okay, so first, whatever the assumption, function is a real valued function, which is whose domain of definition is a subset of R2. This is basically a subset of R2, and this is a special type of region that is basically R, means rectangular region. We are not initially assume the region to be arbitrary. Later on, we gradually improve the definition and means its applicability, means its uh, in many way it can be developed. Those things I will consider later on. Now look at this, whatever the implication. So if we apply our intuition, then what is actually, what is the graph of a function in this case? Who can tell? In general, graph of a function, graph of any f, where f is a function from a to b. This is, I like to write the general definition. This is nothing but collection of x comma fx. Okay, so where x belongs to a. So that means it is a subset of a cross b. Okay, now look at that. Whenever your function from R to R, real line to real line, in that case, graph can be represented where it is a subset of R2. That means graph we can see in plane. Now, whenever your function f is R2 to R, means real valued function of two real variables, in that case, graph of f by this definition, it is a subset of R3, right? Because R2 cross R means R3. That means graph of the function, it looks like in space. There are three dimensions here. Okay. Now you see graph of a, initially this is a three-dimensional figure. The drawing is not up to the mark, but okay, let me show you more precisely. Okay, so if you can see this thing, I initially assume that the function is positive or maybe non-negative, and this is the graph of a. So this is a three-dimensional figure, and this is the thing, like this is x-axis, this is y-axis, this is z-axis. So, and this rectangle, this is basically your AB cross CD, right? So this is your rectangle, this is R. This is the domain of definition of your f. F is a function from R to real line. Okay, so this is your graph of the function. So ultimately double integration, its meaning is like it will be a volume, because once here dimension will be more, dimension will be 3. So it is a volume under the graph of f and above the region, above your D. D is basically the portions where it is projected on XY plane. So uh, basically this D is your region of integration here particularly. So this is in general case. In particular here it is your D. D is a subset of maybe it is rectangle, it is a bounded domain, and this R is nothing but this thing, whatever I have written here. Okay, so what's the meaning? Its meaning is that intuitively its meaning is the volume under the graph of A and above your above the region of integration. Okay, why we look at it above? Because we initially assume the function is non-negative. If it is negative, then it may be below the xy plane. Okay, so in that case, it is difficult to understand from the picture or visualization purpose. It may be a little bit difficult, but later on we'll handle the situation whenever f is negative, whenever f takes the negative value. Okay, so now if we look at it, mm, what way we just generalize it, the one-dimensional interval AB is replaced by a two-dimensional set R, that is a region of integration. And we consider the rectangular region. Initially, as I told you that we consider a rectangular region AB cross CD, and we have also drawn the picture of that region. Okay, so this is your R. And function is non-negative. So intuitively, its meaning is that volume. We have to somehow measure the volume under the graph and above the XY plane, whatever the region of integration. Okay, so this is the idea how we can generalize. Next, my question. Next, you may ask how to evaluate this thing. What should be the technique of evaluation? This is one very common technique is by means of iterated integral. So it can be done by means of iterated integral, whatever most of the double integration occurring in practice can be computed by means of repeated one-dimensional integration. That is, it enables us to evaluate certain double integral by means of two consecutive one-dimensional integrations. So what is that? This is you see. Okay. Next question is that this is the basically notation for double integration. Sometimes we write dA or sometimes it is written in dx dy. It depends on you, whatever you can write. So in case of double integration, if we write this f of x comma y dx dy, or if you write dy dx, then there is no issue. In case of double integration, this is the symbol for double integration. There is no issue. You can write dx first and then dy. You can write even dy first and then dx. There is no issue. Now, how it can be evaluated? How it can be evaluated? It can be evaluated by means of the repeated integral. What is that? That is a to b, c to d, f of x comma y dy. What's the meaning? How we have to first integrate this thing. That means f of xy is a function of x and y, two variables. We have to integrate with respect to y, keeping x as constant and putting the limit for y from c to d. That means what? That means ultimately we are getting a function of x only. And eventually that function of x we have to integrate with respect to x and putting the limit a to b. Then ultimately we are getting a constant that is basically the volume. Okay. Now, if we reverse the roles of x and y, then we obtain dx first and then dy. What is that? That is the same thing. The integrand function is integrated with respect to x, keeping y as constant and putting the limit a to b. Then we are getting a function of y only. And that function, particularly function of y, we integrate it with respect to y and putting the limit c to d. So ultimately we are getting a constant that is your volume. Okay. So what in this case, initially we assume a very strong condition. What is that? If f is a continuous function on a rectangle, then we can find the double integration by means of its repeated integral. That is what there are two ways we can have. One is y first, then x. Another is x first, then y. So only two possibilities are there. So there are only two possibilities. So there are only two possibilities in this case. Okay. So now I like to just generalize the concept a bit more. What is that? In order to understand you, I like to write it. Uh, Initially, we assume that the region of integration, your f, and this is your rectangle. Uh, And then I like to do the concept whenever F is a subset of D, D is a subset of R2. This is arbitrary region, but one condition still it is there. What is that? This is a bounded region. And that means what in this case, particularly this say for example, this is your D, right? Okay. So this is your D arbitrary region. And again, here also we assume that the function is non-negative. So what the extension we like to make? We like to make the extension like initially we assume the function is defined on a rectangular region. Now we assume that it can be any subset of R2, any region. It may not be your rectangular region. So in this case, what we should do? Okay. Since I assume that function is your region is bounded, that means there exists a rectangle R is a subset of R2 such that R is a superset of D. Since it is bounded, we can always construct one rectangle which is sure. We can always construct like that. Okay, so this is very simple, and we like to define F tilde from that capital R to R2 as F tilde is going to be equal to F whenever your X comma Y belongs to D. And this is going to be equal to 0. Otherwise, that means beyond this, we assume that the function F tilde, its value is 0. So whatever the volume contribution, now you think what is F tilde dA or dx dy, whatever you can write over this double integration over your particularly capital R. This is going to be equal to double integration over d small f dx dy or dA, whatever you can write. So this thing is exactly same as that of this thing, because we know this thing how to handle this thing, because it is a rectangle we can find by means of repeated integral. And eventually C, initially your function is over D. D is an arbitrary region which is a bounded region in R2. And that integration can be done by means of this technique. Whatever the construction we did like we took one function F tilde, which is whose domain of definition is a rectangle, which is a bigger set than your D. In that situation, how it has been defined, it is going to be equal to F whenever xy belongs to D. Otherwise, it is 0. That means volume contribution beyond D, it is 0. So ultimately, whatever the volume contribution here, actually what we have to do, that is taken care of. So this thing is basically, it is fine. So there is no issue. We can do it. Okay. Next, I like to just solve one example. And this is in case of basically rectangular region. Example 1, if I do this is your rectangular region. 0,2 to 0,1, say for example, then whatever we can you see this is a polynomial function, so it is a continuous function, so we can find by means of iterated integral. Whatever the way we can find it, the way is very simple. We like to take 0 to 2, 0 to 1. In which way you can take, there is no issue. X, y square. I can take this thing is basically dy. So then it is dx. Because limit for y 0 to 1 and limit for x 0 to 2. So what we have to do here, we like to 0 to 2, we keep it intact. Then this integrand function we have to integrate with respect to y, keeping x as constant. So what is that? That is x y cube by 3. And here y equal to 0, y equal to 1 dx, right? Because only we have to put the values for y. And here x regarded as constant, y we have to integrate. Y square in its integration is y cube by 3. Okay, so what is this? So this is 0 to 2. If we do it, x by 3 minus 0. So this is your dx. So ultimately it is x square by 6. 0 to 2. That means what? By 3, right? 4 by 6 means 2 by 3. So this is your answer. Okay, so now if we look at, if we try to do in a different way, so we could do like this as 0 to 1, 0 to 2, x y square dx, and then dy we can do it. So this is 0 to 1. It is x square by y square will be keeping as constant. So this is x integration, it's x square by 2. So x is equal to 0, x equal to 2. So this is dy. Ultimately, this is what? 0 to 1. Now we look at it. What is this? 2y square minus 0. This is y dy. That means 2 by 3 ultimately. Okay, so same answer we expect here. These are same in this case. Because the function is continuous. Because this is continuous, whatever I write, this is continuous. So we can find the double integration by means of its iterated integral. Okay, now I like to give one remark here. Remark is what? So once we write repeated integral, we have to be careful. A to B, C to D, f of x comma y. If I write dx, then dy. Whatever the region of integration, what could be your R? You see, x is varying from C to D. That means C comma D here. Cross A to B is Y. Y is your A to B. Okay, so from this we have to understand that, because if we do not give the bracket, suppose A to B, C to D, f of xy dx dy, so it has a meaning. Similarly, its meaning A to B, C to D, f dy dx, it has another meaning. Because in this case, y is running from C to D, x is running from A to B in this case, but here in this case, the region of integration is different. X is running from C to D, y is running from A to B. So these two things are different. Okay, so whenever we write in terms of repeated integral, we have to be cautious. Understand? So if we write in terms of double integration f dx dy, then it is always equal to double integration f dy dx. This is basically double integration. This is double integration, but this thing is repeated integral. This thing is repeated, another repeated integral. Right? So in case of repeated integral, we have to be a little bit careful uh, while writing the order of the thing, dx dy or dy dx. Okay, so later on we will understand what is the thing. Okay, so I tell you that region of integration c cross c comma d cross a comma b, this is different as that of your a comma b cross c comma d. It may be different in many cases. And next we like to write one theorem, like if a function is continuous on a rectangle, then f is integrable on R. So this is this result. Uh, if f is continuous on a rectangle R, then it is integrable on R. Right? This R is not real number. Okay, so you you have to be careful. This is your set of all real number. And these are I denote it here as first letter of rectangle, that is a rectangular region. Normally it is a comma b cross c comma d. Okay, so we have to be little bit careful here. This R, simple R, is a first letter of rectangle, and it is basically a cross b, sorry, a comma b cross c comma d. Uh, another technique I like to give you one note. What is that? In case of your single integration a to b fx dx, initially we assume that function is non-negative. Then we define by means of this thing. It is basically this part, right? So this is the area under the region y equal to fx, and above the x-axis like that. So whenever f is arbitrary, if f is negative, then what we take? Then we consider f to be minus of minus f. Now look at it. This minus f, this function, particular this function minus f, this function becomes positive, greater than 0. And we can apply our definition for minus f, right? So since minus f is positive, so we can apply the definition here. So minus of minus f, we have to consider. Similarly, in a similar fashion, f of x comma y, if f of x comma y is negative for some x comma y belongs to your D, say for example, for general case, for D, then we consider what we consider minus f of x comma y and apply it as f is basically equal to minus of minus f, and this part is particularly positive. Okay, so I think this is clear to everybody. Next, I like to write certain properties. Okay, it is better to just show the properties because otherwise it may take a little bit more time. Okay, the following elementary properties of double integral on rectangles are very much useful. The proofs are similar to those in one-dimensional case, so omitted because proofs are basically parallel to one-dimensional case, and one-dimensional case all of you know. First thing is, if f is integrable on R, then it is integrable on any subrectangle of R. What is that? Suppose this is your bigger rectangle, initially this is your R, and if f is integrable on R, then it is integrable on any subset here, subrectangle, there is no issue because it is integrable in a bigger rectangle. So this is quite expected result. If f is integrable on R, so f plus, f minus, and mod f. F plus all of you know, and f minus is also this is very standard notation, and mod f is also standard. Mod f all of you know. Next, so this property is also simple. This already you understand. If f and g be integrable on R, then f plus g, they are algebra. F plus g, f minus g, f into g, c into f for some constant c. And if mod f, mod g is greater or equal to c for some constant c greater than 0, then f by g. Basically here g has to be positive. So this is the very natural expectation. Then we can say that the division is also that function f by g is also integrable. If f is integrable on R, and if R1 and R2 formed from F by cutting it with a line parallel to one of the coordinate axes, then we can write this is something like your this thing a to b fx dx. This thing we can write a to c, c is in between f dx plus c to b f dx. Okay, so same thing here also we A to C, C to B. C is in between A to B. So similarly, it is R1 and R2. It is divided into two subrectangles. Then we can write that. Now, if f and g, these two are integrable function on f, and if f is greater or equal to g on R, on the domain of definition R, then its value means its volume contribution is bigger than that of the volume contribution of g, which is a smaller function. So this is quite expected result. Now you see if f of x comma y is equal to k for all xy belongs, that means if it is a constant function, then it is k into area of R. Okay, so I like to see that thing. If your f is particularly k for all x comma y belongs to your say for example R, if it is a rectangle, then what is happening? Double integration your f dx dy over this particular R is equal to some k into, because f is k, So if you do the calculation by means of repeated integral, it will be coming area of your R, this rectangle. So more precisely, if your R is basically AB comma CD, AB cross CD, then what is this? This is K into B minus A into D minus C. Okay, because area of this rectangle means like that. Okay, so ultimately we get the volume of the rectangular parallelepiped. Okay, whose height is K and length is B minus A and width is D minus C. Okay, so this is something like a brick. Okay. So another thing, in case of double integration, if I like to give some flavor, what actually it is happening. So, so all of you know the pack of playing cards, right? So this is a something like um, this. You can say. So it contains how many things are there? How many? There are 52 cards. Okay. So I like to find the volume of this. So what we do basically, if I find each of the card, if I take, there are 52 cards here. If I pick up one card and if I consider its basically its area, then if I sum it up the areas, then we get the volume of the total 52 cards. That's all. Actually, that is done in case of repeated integration. Okay, so this is simple understanding examples. Next, I like to give some other type of regions, that is type 1, type 2, and type 2. Different types of region. So there are three. Initially, I like to introduce elementary region like type 1, then type 2, then type 3. So you see the development. I start with a rectangular region, that is AB cross CD, and then I just give an arbitrary region D. This is a subset of R2, but practically this is little bit difficult. If it is an arbitrary bounded region, then theoretically how we can handle, there is a way out. Means we have to extend, we have to define a function f tilde on a bigger rectangle in such a way that f tilde is going to be equal to f whenever xy belongs to your D. Otherwise 0, then we can do it basically. But in practical, how to handle this is little bit difficult. Okay, so this is a theoretical idea how to extend your initial region of integration, rectangular region, to an arbitrary bounded region D. Okay, so practically there are certain other types of region which we can handle in time of solving. So what are those things? Those are regarded as type 1, type 2, and type 3. Sorry, type 3 regions. Okay. So what is type 1? Type 1 region S can be written as set of all x comma y, where x is in between two constant and y is in between two continuous function phi1 x less or equal to y less or equal to phi2 x. So these two are continuous function. Okay. So what is that? And that is, if I try to draw the picture, so in between x is in between a to b, y is in between phi1x, this is phi2x, this is y equal to phi1x, phi2x, this is bigger, y equal to phi1x, this graph. Okay, so these two are continuous function. That is the only restriction here. So this region is basically S. Okay, now there may be another region. I can write as T. I pick different color. T is set of all x comma y belongs to R2 such that C less or equal to y less or equal to D, and x is in between psi 2y and psi 1y. Okay, so what is this? If we draw the picture here, so what could be? C to D is like this, and it may be like some functions here and some functions here. So this part is basically, this is x is psi 2y, and this graph is x is psi 1y. Okay, so this part, and these two are continuous function again. So this is bounded by two continuous functions psi1y and psi2y, right? Okay. So this region is known as your T. Next, another thing I like to write different color, type 3, type 3 region. What is that? If it can be written as type 1, as either type 1 or type 2, then we can write, that means there are some regions. Okay, so say for example, if I, so say for example, suppose this thing, and it is like this. Okay, so this picture is not up to the mark. Okay, suppose this thing y equal to x square, and this thing is y equal to x. Okay, so what is this point? This point is 1 comma 0, and this is your 0 comma 0, and this is your 1 comma 1, right? So I can write this as set of all x comma y such that 0 less or equal to x less or equal to 1, and y is what? Y is bigger is what? X, x square. So this thing is as type 1, and also this can be written as, also the same region can be written as set of all x comma y. So this thing is basically 0 to 1, this part. So 0 less or equal to y less or equal to 1, and x is in between. What is this? X is here. What is x is y, and what is here? X is root y. Okay, so this is basically type 2 region. So either we can write as type 2 region or we can write as type 1 region. Hence we can say that this is a type 3 region, right? So I think up to this today, and in the next class we like to uh, solve some exercise how to basically deal with in the sums here. Okay, so one exercise I like to make here. Okay, so suppose this is your D and evaluate double integration over this D where it is x e to the power y dx dy. So you have to do it. So I think you can do it, or maybe a little bit easier. I can make it x y cube by 5. Okay, so this is your home exercise. Okay, so thank you all. And this is up to today.